Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen of Sportscaster Nation and Hashtag Nation? We are here live here at Hashtag Sports, trying to break down all the chaos that's probably going to happen here in a short while. It's about 3:20 p.m. on Wednesday, March 18th. This is officially the live time of when we're going to be talking about NFL free agency. Well, Jack Patrick, first one in the house, man. Good to see Buffalo Mafia news. Taiwan Jones. Yeah, I was just looking at that as well. A lot of information coming out so far about a lot of signings that have been going on. I'll try to get to all of them as well. But one interesting point of note that I saw for the NFL, I want to give this to you guys because it was I felt it was pretty interesting, and I know you guys would probably be interested in this. I'm pretty sure. All right, here it is. Today, the NFL announced that they are going to be giving complimentary access to the NFL Game Pass through May 31st. So if you guys want the Game Pass, I guess they're giving complimentary service to that in lieu of the coronavirus that happens to be going around. It's pretty insane. So. Other than that, it's good to see you guys in the chat. It was good to break the news of Stephon Diggs, and since we broke that news, a lot of other guys have come into the fold for the Buffalo Bills. I released a video a little bit earlier today about just the nastiness of the players that are coming in for the Buffalo Bills, and I like that. Chuck, Eric, John, Apex, Dylan, Stephon, what is going on? Jack Patrick, Bobby Boucher, 3-year deal, $69 million with incentives. Unlimited high-quality H2O. I love it. Okay, it's gonna be fun, guys. Like I'm gonna try to, have this stream going, see if we can get some live reactions for all of the announcements that are gonna be happening. Tampa Bay buying old-fashioned. Not saying that, buddy. Not saying that. So Dawkins saying yesterday that Taiwan was happening. Yeah, Taiwan Jones. It's interesting to know that bringing Taiwan Jones into the fold. If you guys remember, that's something Bean likes to do. He likes to get insurance policies. I don't know about the effectiveness of Taiwan Jones as far as the offense goes in the running game, but he's definitely going to be a guy that's going to participate on your special teams in that respect. So, it probably could signal. A lot of times what Bean has done in the past few years, what he has done is that he's gone out in free agency, he has gotten depth signings, and then have drafted those similar positions. We talk about Croft, Phillips, and T.J. Yeldon, and then they end up drafting Singletary, Oliver, and Knox. So it could be one of those things where he's trying to get an insurance policy, he's trying to help himself out, and that could be it. So to the 31 watching, good to see you guys. No Vic Beasley, yes, but the Atlanta Falcons just picked up Fowler from the Rams, so. You lose Vic Beasley, but you get Fowler, which he's another guy that plays with his hand in the dirt, but has played with his hand up every once in a while. Noisy Boy, is that a fan in the background? I do apologize. I'm operating remotely. I don't have my huge computer that I usually broadcast from. It's from my 4-RAM laptop. So I apologize if this bad boy is overrun with what is going on. So I do apologize about a little bit of the background noise and the mic. I hope you guys can hear me all right. Yeah, other than that, Trevon Diggs. I want Trevon Diggs in the draft now. Could be fire. Stephon, that would be pretty amazing. Buffalo Mafia. Paul is going to be joining me tomorrow for the live feed as we break down. We're going to break down a little bit more of the CBA. That's more of Paul's thing. I just want to get on here because I haven't had a discussion with you guys and the Stephon Diggs news. I just wanted to get on and get that out and get some of the details of that, which I'll probably go over again today. It's just it's an amazing move by the Buffalo Bills and amazing by Brandon Beane to do that. But yeah, Paul's in quarantine. He definitely is. We did. A lot of people were commenting on our videos last week that we weren't practicing social distancing. Paul's waving the fan. Yes, he is. He definitely is waving the fan. Poyer's deal lines up with Poyer's deal line up with Micah Hyde's now. I think they extended him for 2 years. I believe that is right. I have to go check on that. We got $25 million cap. John Buchert. No, it is not Corona time. I don't want none of that nonsense. Talk about the defensive tackle pickups. I keep hearing about not our culture type. See, this is the this is kind of the breakdown of what's been going on. For a couple of years now, for 3 for McDermott, 2 for Bean, they've been able to build a culture. Now, if you want to think about it, with the departure of Shaq Lawson, Reed Ferguson, who's the long snapper, and every time I bring up Reed Ferguson, I got to bring up his Twitter handle, SnapFlow69. If you're on Twitter and you're not following him, please give him a follow. As far as that goes, now with the departure of Shaq Lawson, Reed Ferguson is the only guy from the previous regime that happens to be on the team currently. So what you do is you already have a locker room full of your guys that are in the fold. I'm assuming that Bean and McDermott and Frazier and Dable and all those guys in the front office and everybody, they know that their team is very strong right now as far as the culture in the locker room and how they're able to straighten guys out if they happen to get off course. So that's the reason why I believe that they did it. That's why they're bringing in these guys that are just full of 100% nastiness. And you talk about Jefferson going up in the fans at a Jaguars game. You talk about Vernon Butler punching Jack Doyle in the face. These things. Norman's constant battles with OBJ. A lot of these things. Hopefully, the culture of the locker room is one that can turn these guys around. And I love the pickups. I love the defensive tackle pickups. I love what they got. Mario Addison is a guy that could probably straighten out Jefferson and Butler by himself. Butler ended up talking about how he was heavily influenced by Addison, and they ended up bringing both of them in. So there's not going to be much mystery to how they play off of each other, which is great. Usually when you're bringing in a lot of guys, you're bringing in guys from different teams, and they don't really have the chemistry yet. You got 2 guys that do have the chemistry with each other, so we'll see how that goes. I believe, here's my question, how come some other team doesn't counter the offer for Hopkins? Everyone was saying the Texans could have gotten much more for Hopkins since the trade isn't official till 4. In the rare case that this happens, a lot of times what happens during the tampering period is kind of almost like a feeling out period. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of the NFL, I don't understand the trade myself. I don't understand it. You got Hyde and you got Duke Johnson as your running backs, and you're going to bring in a guy that does not run inside the tackles. Well, Duke Johnson really doesn't run inside the tackles either. Plus, you're giving away arguably the greatest wide receiver in the NFL right now in Hopkins. I just don't understand that move. I'm sure teams could call and counter and say, hey, this is what we're willing to give up for Hopkins. Maybe they didn't have enough juice. I'm not sure. But, I can't understand the move. If I had to try to speak intelligently about getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, I can't do it. I do apologize. I know you guys come here for content and for information. I cannot rationally figure out why you would get rid of DeAndre Hopkins unless it was the relationship between him and O'Brien was so poisonous. I don't want to echo what Michael Irvin said, but if it was to that point, then there's no way that they could have coexisted for another year. Jefferson and Butler, there we go. Huge pickups getting Diggs. Yes, huge pickup getting Diggs. If the Bills still have the 5th and 6th round picks this year, Pedro, yes, they actually had 2 5ths and 3 6ths going into that trade. So they still have a 5th round pick and they have 2 6th round picks. And they pick up 7th. Did they get a 7th from Minnesota? I think they did. So who would make the most sense at RB2 behind / split with Singletary? Well, due to the moves that the Buffalo Bills have made and some of the holes that they've plugged in, thank you for that, by the way, Stefan. Because of all the holes that they end up plugging in so far, it seems that they have best player available at the draft. So they're able to go out and get pretty much anybody that they want. If a running back in the tail end of free agency happens to be there, okay. Gore's not here. You got TJ Yeldon. You still have TJ Yeldon for one more year. I'm not sure that that's the complementary piece to Singletary. We saw it last year for a number of games that Yeldon happened to sit. So I don't know. You could pick up a guy in the draft in the 2nd round that no one's really looking at. And, not many people, at least in my circle that was talking about running backs last year, were talking about Devin Singletary. So it could be another one of those under-the-radar guys that fits in this Brian Daboll offense. Draft the 2nd. Who do we go in the 2nd round? 2nd round, I'm going to steal something from Greg Thompson because he got me turned on to Kyle Duggar. I think that he would be an excellent pickup. As far as the 2nd round, my personal opinion, we haven't seen anything except for the Quentin Spain signing to do anything with the offense. You got Stephon Diggs, you got Quentin Spain. That was pretty much it. I'm interested in alignment. Jack Conklin's not available. Brian Balaga's not available now. You got all these linemen that are going. True, a lot of the top offensive linemen that were free agents this year are in their 30s. So it might be a position that they want to go younger. So I'm not really sure about that. I'm pretty certain that they're gonna re-sign the Adrian Waddle because there's just something there. I mean, when he got injured last year, they could have released him with an injury settlement. It would have been over with. No one really would have picked him up. I'm not sure anybody would have picked him up, but they still kept him on the roster. So I think they see something in Adrian Waddle that we have yet to see on the field yet. Okay. A good running back in the William Lang, a good running back in the second, and Chase Claypool in the third. Ooh, Chase Claypool is very interesting. I would love to have Chase Claypool here. I mean, he gives you that height that you don't have already. But in bringing Stephon Diggs, who is 6 feet, considered one of the best route runners in the NFL, you see how this offense moves the ball and how everything manifests. It's all off of route combinations, man. You're not just saying, okay, Randy Moss, go deep and I'll throw it up to you. It's not the way it is. So they use a lot of route combinations in order to get guys open in the EP system. And if you can get a guy that can run routes better than anybody, that shifts a lot of the number 2 corners over to John Brown's side, who's got to be one of the happiest guys to see that Stephon Diggs is signed here in Buffalo. Buffalo Mafia News. Are we going to wait to re-sign Trey? I don't know why you would. I mean, Xavier Howard and Byron Jones are now the 2 highest paid corners in your division. Miami, let's just think about this for a second. Miami is paying $31 million this year just for 2 corners. I mean, they've been pretty active in free agency, and they've been pretty good. But, more volume on this for you. I know I'm screaming into the mic. That's pretty insane to me. The fact that you have 2 corners that are making $31 million this year. I mean, I don't know if that Byron Jones deal was to try to get Trey out of the division, maybe possibly get Stephon Gilmore out of the division. Gilmore's already signed, but for Trey's deal, he's going to get paid, and he's going to get paid handsomely. He may be the highest paid. If he has another season like he did last year, he's going to be one of the highest paid safety corners in the league. So, and I'm not bad. I'm not arguing about that. Lester, any more surprises by Bean or just small deals left? Complimentary running back, perhaps a trade. Ngoku is pipe dream. Yeah, with the signings that they've had as far as the defensive line goes, I don't know if Ngoku is in their sights. It would be a pipe dream to get him. To get him now, I think you're releasing Trent Murphy if you get him. And I think those have to go together because the $8 million, $8+ million you're gonna save on Trent Murphy, you're gonna get him. And you have your sack master, albeit 32 years old, Mario Addison. That he could set the edge to on that side. Mostly plays on the other side, but he plays all over the line. So what I loved about the signings that you have is you have a lot of versatility with the defensive line, especially with the 3 guys that they picked up. Let's draft Cam Akers in the 2nd round. I agree with that. Trevon Diggs in the 2nd. Stephon Fitchley. Yeah. It would be pretty interesting to have both of them on the same squad, and it could be hinting something, but I don't know. Dylan, re-signing Waddle will be one of the best moves of the season. There's a reason they kept him on the team the entire year. There was a reason, and it wasn't like a Jason Kroom reason. It was a reason they kept him on. Hey, Joe from Believers Talk. Hit that like button, #Nation. Appreciate it, buddy. I like Duggars in the 2nd and Akers in the 3rd. Yeah, the thing is, with Bean, he always seems to have a really good finger on the pulse of when to go up and get a guy if he thinks a guy's not going to be there. Now, if you think about the difference between Cody Ford and Greg Little last year, I mean, they ended up taking Cody Ford. I think Greg Little went like 2 or 3 picks later to Carolina, and he did not have a very good year down in Carolina. So if those were the 2 guys that were left on the board, Bean doesn't seem like the type of guy who goes, okay, there's 2 of those guys left. We'll get one of them. Let's just stay where we are. He's going to go up and aggressively get his guy. And, I mean, they have some ammunition, a little bit of ammunition to do that this year. Not as much as they had to go get Tremaine Edmonds and Josh Allen that one year, but they still have a lot of ammunition to go up and get which guy that they want. Okay. Bills give up more capital for Diggs. I wonder if the Bills offer the same picks for Hopkins. If I was Houston, I would take the Bills draft picks over David Johnson's easily. Yeah. I think one of the things you have to consider, and Paul and I talk about this a lot, is that you're sending Hopkins to the NFC. The price tag, I think, for Hopkins to stay in the AFC, I think would have been more than it was to send him over to the NFC. So that's why you don't see guys, the majority of the time, a lot of guys don't sign within the division or they don't trade within the division because they don't want to face that guy twice a year. And you have to try to take care of your division first before you take care of everything else. So, if Hopkins went to the Bills, I think the price tag would have been a little bit more. It might have been a first and a second and a third, possibly, and not in the same year. But he's like a first and a third this year and a second in next year's draft, and Bean really covets those second-round picks. So, Les Mistress, I'm with Greg. Bean's going to flip Trent Murphy for a pick during the preseason. He could. I mean, he did the same thing with Bodine. He did the same thing with Wyatt Teller, and you got to think about it. But the Bodine and Teller picks are what they gave up to Minnesota. I don't know if it's the exact picks. It might be the Bills picks, but I figure they're giving up higher picks. But you gave up Russell Bodine and Wyatt Teller, along with a fourth in 2021 and your first this year for that. How many picks? How many of the Diggs trade picks were from trading Teller? Oh, hey, it's Tim Ellington. Thanks. Awesome. And I wanted to explain something because at the time when the trade manifested, the Bills are giving up a fourth rounder in 2021. Conditional picks you cannot trade. Or compensatory picks, I'll have to check with Paul on this. I'm about 95% sure you cannot trade those picks. However, the Bills, because of the moves they didn't make and the moves that were already made in the deal with Shaq Lawson, it works like this. And there's a formula for it that it's kind of just crazy. But if you lose more than you gain in free agency, the league gives you compensatory picks for certain players. So at the time, the Bills, according to the formula and how much Lawson signed for and the fact that they lost him, that he was a first-round pick and his production, they were going to be awarded a fourth-round pick in 2021. So them giving up their fourth-round pick, they would have gotten another fourth-round pick in lieu of that. So you think the Bodine trade, the Teller trade, Shaq signing in Miami, they really only gave up the 22nd overall pick for Stephon Diggs. Now, if the Bills didn't feel that they could get up to get a Lamb, Judy, Ruggs, whichever guy that you liked in the first round, please don't say Higgins, but whatever guy that you liked in the first round, if they didn't feel they had the ammunition to do that, they said, listen, let's go with Diggs in lieu of trying to get up because the draft is a crapshoot. You don't know who's going to be trading up, what the value of those certain picks are going to be. Draft day is insane as it is. Let's get a guy. But the beauty of this whole trade is that you traded a first-round pick, understandably so. However, Stephon Diggs he has 4 more years on his contract. So you traded a first-round pick, and it's almost like you got a first-round pick in return with you got a guy who's been a pro. He knows what it takes to win in the league. He's played with multiple quarterbacks. He's a guy that he's 26 years old, and you have him until he's 30. So it's almost like a first-round pick with a fifth-year option on it. So as far as the trade goes, there were so many boxes that it checked that was like, Bean, you're pretty good. You're pretty good at this. That was very positive. That I think as you go on, it's going to be phenomenal. So Pedro Martinez, you think Josh Norman is a good fit? John Herring, who do we sign from Houston? We signed Tywan Jones. And Dylan already answered you, so because I can't read that fast. Do I think Josh Norman would be a good fit? I think he's more of a zone corner than a man corner. Honestly, I got to be honest with you. But the most success that he enjoyed was in a Sean McDermott defense. Now we have to say this because it's true. It's not technically a Sean McDermott defense. It's a Leslie Frazier defense. Who, by the way, how do you think they got Diggs? Minnesota connection, Leslie Frazier. But Geek Squad, thank you. They have $35 million in cap left, so they can still make some noise. But they still have not re-signed the big dogs. You extended Poyer, understandably so. He's earned it. But they haven't extended a lot of the big dogs. Milano, Dawkins, who else? Trey. Trey you can wait on. I don't think they will, but you can wait on Trey. But as far as the Josh Norman goes, I just think he's more of a zone corner, which is Levi Wallace's strength. Versus, I think they're going to try to go get a man corner now. I heard some rumblings about Chris Harris. I don't know if he's signed anywhere yet. Let me check my my NFL Twitter feed. So make sure that this thing's rolling along. Yeah, and we'll get to TB12 in a second because I know you guys are dying to hear about him. It should be pretty funny when we talk about him. Let me see. It's so fun. Okay. Raiders had a 2-year contract offer at one point for former Broncos corner Chris Harris Jr. per sources. Raiders went with a different direction with Eli Apple. Interesting that it's interesting that the Raiders were going in on him because he played in Denver. He's in your division. He's a free agent. That'd be a addition by subtraction and addition again. So I don't know. It's pretty amazing. Raiders yesterday just went and signed all the Cowboys players. It seems like it, doesn't it? Go back to the chat. Let's see here. I think we're really set at O-line because we're going to re-sign Waddle. No problem there. Let us keep drafting offensive playmakers. I'm in on that. Buffalo Mafia News. I want Kevin Johnson back. You're not alone. I do want him as well. Paul Berg is echoing his sentiments about getting a left tackle. Do we lose CB Johnson? Kevin Johnson is a free agent. I don't know if he's going to re-sign. I don't know if they're trying to work out the deals. I'm not really sure what is going on there. But they could be holding the signing of him, holding it off for later. Or they don't have anything like... There's a lot of sleight of hand going on right now with some of these announcements. So they announce the big names first, and then a lot of guys that they're going to fill in after that. If they're still negotiating, like, okay, if we got Kevin Johnson on the hook, who else do we want to talk to? You know what I mean? So that could be it. Chris Harris plays outside. He definitely plays outside. Diggs is going to want to reconstruct. Juan Castillo is going to want to reconstruct his contract after 1 year, and it'll cost more than $11 per year. I think what they'll do is, as far as Diggs is concerned, I don't know if it's going to be more money that they're going to give him because he already has a pretty lucrative contract. Some of his base salary may be converted into bonus. Now, the Bills don't have to do that immediately. I mean, we saw it last year with Antonio Brown. What they did, he got traded, and then all of his salary was base salary. What they did was they ended up giving him more money, which the Bills don't have to do, but I'm pretty certain they will. And then some of his base salary goes to bonus, so he'll get money right away. Usually when you get those bonus salaries, they get the money right away. So. I think that's what he's going to want, especially for the 2021-2022 seasons. He's going to want to have some guaranteed money going into those seasons, so it's not all base salary. So I could see them renegotiating. I don't see them giving him a huge pay increase, though, on that. Really need to be careful signing these high-priced guys like Harris. We have big contracts coming up. John Herring, you are right. They do have a lot of big contracts coming up. With the projections of Dawkins, Milano, and Trey White, plus the next year you're going to have to sign Edmonds and Allen. Of course, a lot of people have question marks about Allen. Is if in year 3 he doesn't increase, you could be looking for another guy. I mean, just look at what the Bears did. The Bears just signed Foles. I mean, they've been looking for a quarterback, and they have Mitch Trubisky, who they traded up to get. So it's win or go home in the NFL now, boys. It's crazy. Jefferson was good. We need nasty. Yes, Paul Berg. He is nasty. Didn't they tag Hunt? Kansas City? Kansas City? Or the Browns? Who are you talking about? Who tagged Hunt? Oh, Hunt is a transition tag. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. John Herring, I totally trust Bean. You're not kidding. Oh, so they signed him for special teams, John Bowen. Yeah, if you want to think about it in this respect, realistically, Lorenzo Alexander was playing 3 different positions. He was playing defensive tackle, he was playing Sam linebacker, he was playing a lot of special teams. So that role is, in and of itself, very unique. So what the Bills are doing now is they're getting 3 guys to fill those roles, which isn't unheard of. I mean, very rarely will you have a guy that versatile on your team. But now they're signing a couple guys here and there. And bear in mind, when the new league year starts, rosters are at 90. You could sign a bunch of guys. That's just the way of the NFL. I mean, at the end, you're going to have 55 due to the new CBA. You're going to have 55 on your roster, but I think you have 48 on game day. But that's the way that goes. You could sign a bunch of these guys right now. It's not bad. By the way, Tywan Jones was the guy that caught that last pass when Milano missed the tackle, and I don't want to bring him up anymore tonight. I'm just letting you guys know. Are those really 3 consoles sitting there? Yes, there are. Those are 3 consoles. And the VR camera. Guys, full disclosure, it was just a picture I took off the internet, so it's not actually my house. Just wanted to tell you before everyone thought that this is actually my house. I do have that stand for the double chargers, though. I just want to let you guys know. I do have the stand and a PS4, and a Switch. Oh, wow. I guess I do have all of those things, but just not there. Hope weight has progressed. Might be part of the plans. That could be a reason why they're not going after a big name running back. It could have been that he has progressed. I mean, but the thing is, too, he is 29, so the clock is running out on weight as well. So maybe this could be the year that he does that. I don't think Les Mistress. I don't think Carlos Hyde is signed yet. He can truck and catch. He's a good compliment for Singletary. Yeah, you think you guys need more of an inside, pound it in between the guards runner for Singletary, or do you think a TJ Yeldon type pass receiving back would be a compliment for Singletary? I'm interested to see what you guys would think. It's interesting. Because I don't know, because I think Singletary at this point has shown he can do both. I really think he has. It's awesome. So I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that. If you want to hit me up on that. Ooh, we got almost 90 people in here. I guess quarantine's helping out somebody. All right, let me just take a look over to Sportscaster, see if we got any comments over there in the stream. Quilt Lynn, Man United, and Texas Gal. Good. Thank you for joining the live stream. We are also over on YouTube, and we're on Sportscaster, and I'm over on Twitch as well and Facebook. So I decided to go out to all platforms to max out the 4 RAMs that I have on my laptop right now. So we'll see how this bad boy goes. Gangrene David, good to see you, man. I watched the broadcast with you and Green Bean and everybody. So love your guys' work, man. Juan Castillo, I thought it was real. I'm sorry, buddy. Paul Berg, AJ Klein's a solid linebacker as well. Gotten better every year. Yeah, the greatest thing about Klein is that he can play all over the line. I mean, he's a guy that is very versatile, and that's what you have. I mean, he's your Sam linebacker. You signed a defensive tackle, and you got Tywan Jones. Those are the 3 guys that are going to fill Zoe's old roles. So, I was looking behind me. Yeah, he's looking behind me for consoles. Chris Ivory type of guy. You want a Chris Ivory type of guy for a running back. I can't trust Yeldon with the ball in his hands. Marshall Parker. And you know what? I think some of his fumbles get a little bit blown out of proportion. I think the guy in space can be a matchup nightmare. I mean, I said it on one of the episodes when we were talking about it. The idea of Yeldon is what I'm more intrigued by than the player himself. And what I meant by the idea about him is that you can come out in, excuse me, you can come out in 21 personnel, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. You get Beasley, or you get you have Brown and Diggs as your wide receivers. Oh, felt so good to say that, by the way. You have Brown and Diggs as your wide receivers. You have Knox as your tight end, and you have TJ Yeldon and Singletary. Most of the times in a 21 personnel, the defense is going to come out in a base package, which is a 4-3-3-4. They're going to have more linebackers than defensive backs on the field. If you want to send Yeldon out in motion, because they always use a lot of motion. Motion's great because it helps a young quarterback determine whether or not it's man or zone. I know a lot of teams can disguise it, but majority of the times, that's what it is. So if you put Yeldon out in motion and a linebacker goes up to cover him, he's 6'2", and he caught 56, 57 passes a couple years ago. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that mismatch? That's what football is, guys. It's taking advantage of mismatches. Okay, there's 6 guys over here. There's 5 guys over here. I have 6 guys over here to block those 5 guys. I'm going to run this way. You know what I mean? That's the game. So the idea of Yeldon is what I like more than him running in between the tackles. I know, he's got that fumble stigma attached to him, but I think that's a little bit blown out of proportion sometimes. So we're killing John Roberts. We're killing free agency. Yes. So what are the Bills focusing with their 2nd round pick, best player available? Ryan Robert. They could. They definitely could. Fox87. Hey, hashtag. What's your thoughts on the Bills' moves today? Love the Bills' moves today. I love all of them. I mean, you know, I'm a big fat guy. I love big fat guy moves. And when you sign defensive tackles, I'm happy about that. So you sign Spain, 2D tackles, and a DN, I'm good. I'm a good man. I'm a happy man. That's me right there. Okay, Diggs, Brown, Beasley, Knox, top 5 receiving core in the league. It seems on paper, yeah. But, you know, that little caveat, they got it. They got to give him the ball. They got to get those guys the ball. Apex, depth, yes, depth is amazing. Give me Breida all day. Jack Patrick and someone else said it. Marshall Parker. Breida. Devontae Freeman. Anybody got any thoughts on him? Even though he's oft injured. Anybody got any thoughts on Devontae Freeman? Jeff Farner, like the video, please. Appreciate it, guy. I guess Wade is our number 2. As of right now, it seems like it. All right, Jay Bowling. Everyone says Vernon Butler is a bust. That stigma gets attached to so many first-round picks, and he was the 30th pick overall in that draft. So, Scott Blakely, what's your grade on the free agency so far, Mario? I mean, I like it. And to dispel a lot of the Carolina connection, here's what I wanted to say, and I tweeted it out a little bit earlier, but I just wanted to tell you guys as well. The Carolina connection, everyone said, okay, you got Norman, you got Butler, you got Addison. You know, in the past, you've signed a lot of these former Carolina guys. Well, Riverboat Ron is not in Carolina anymore. So it seems like these free agents that are coming out now, that perhaps Brandon Beane really put in the work to try to scout, these guys are available now. And these are guys that could fit in the same system that's going on, and there's not going to be a lot of miscommunication going on. So a lot of these Carolina guys that they're going after Carolina guys. When you take a guy out of one system and put him in another system, it seems like he would benefit. I mean, all you got to do is take a look at Jordan Phillips. I mean, he was down in Miami. They waived him. Bills claimed him. Dennis Hickey and Dennis Locke, who are like the Moneyball gurus for the Buffalo Bills, they drafted him in the second round. And that's why he didn't have a bust stigma attached to him. He comes to the Bills. They put him on a 1-year prove-it deal. You know, they re-sign him to a 1-year prove-it deal. He proves it. He's making $30 million now. So they just went out and got the next. They just went out and got the next guy that could fill that role. Vernon Butler could do that. I mean, they went out and got Corey Liuget last year. I mean, they know how to scout these guys, and especially bringing it back to the Carolina section of it. These are guys that they probably have scouted. It's like, listen, we don't need to draft that guy because he's a free agent. We can just pick him up. We know him. We drafted him before. We know what it's going to take to get him here, and that's what they do. Those are the guys that they sign. So. Yeah, War Quarter 01. I mean, it was interesting to see. He says, the Bills have been watching Wade on the practice squad hard to know that they've seen something positive and that we haven't. Yeah. And you know, he wasn't able to be touched by any other team. So it didn't matter how much he performed in the preseason, that no other team was going to be able to, because he was the exempt 11th guy. Bringing it forward to the new CBA, the practice squad is going to have 12 guys instead of 10 guys. Just so throw that little nugget in there for you. Hashtag, do we sign Clowney? I don't know. With the money that it's going to take to get him, I mean, it seems like you're pretty set at defensive line right now as it is. You got Jefferson, Butler, Oliver, and Phillips is your 4 rotational interior alignment. And then you have Murphy, Addison, Darryl Johnson, and Jerry Hughes. So you have your 8 defensive linemen as of right now. Do you go get more? I guess you can get depth. Like I said, rosters are at 90. But as far as getting a big name guy now, I'm not really sure they do that. They could. I don't know. But it's just something to think about. Yes, need edge rusher at max. Well, they could draft one. I'm not saying that they couldn't draft one because Addison is 32. Jerry's going to be on the last year of his deal. So in that respect, they could draft one. Those guys come out every year, man. Those edge rushers, those maniacs, they come out every year. What about Melvin Gordon or Eric Ebron? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think the running back, it's top fragger too. I don't know if they're going to get somebody that is going to complement Singletary or someone to challenge him for snaps. I think Gordon's a guy to challenge for snaps. Eric Ebron, I mean, the Bills signed Croft and they draft 2 tight ends last year, and they brought back Kroon. I mean, it's 4 right there, and they have Lee Smith. So I don't know, unless they think someone is inherently that much better than what they already have. I don't know if they would make those moves. I'm just going from a personal standpoint. It seems like they've checked a lot of their boxes as far as their roster goes right now, and unless somebody falls to them, I don't know if they're going to be doing any of that craziness. Let's try to take a look here. Clowney, more flaky than 12 boxes. I'll let you guys read that later. Don't sleep on Eric Jablonski. Don't sleep on Daryl Johnson. I wouldn't either. I mean, you got to talk about these guys got a full offseason now. When the rookies come in, if he's able to put on 10 to 15 pounds, he's going to be scary on that side. I just know it. I mean, that's what happens with a lot of these guys from year 1 to year 2. I mean, the strain on their bodies and a lot of things that they do from their rookie year to their second year. Coming into the rookie year, it's very tough. It's very tough for a lot of these guys to get adjusted to it. But then when they actually have an official off season, they're able to develop. They get into their workout plans. They know what's expected of them in the game. Then they can better prepare themselves for that longevity. J.J. Polk. If you look at the Diggs trade, I know people will say we give him too much, but here's why we didn't. We gave him the 1st, 5th, 6th, and 4th next year. We had 2 5ths and 3 6ths. Yep. JJ, I don't know if you just joined the feed. We were breaking that down a little bit earlier, but that's an excellent point. Thank you for bringing that in, bud. John Herring. Addison is better than Shaq Lawson. The only thing that Addison does not have over Shaq is youth. I believe he is a lot better. But here's the craziest part. Here's the, oh my God, trousers, you're crazy. Here's the interesting thing about Addison that I found out is that of his 51 starts, 47 of them came just in the past 3 seasons. So when he was, let me see, 29, 30, and 31, that's when he had most of his starts. So it's not like this guy was being run into the ground since he came in the league at a 25-year-old. You know, he bounced around a little bit and he didn't have a lot of starts. I want to say that 47 of his 51 total starts were just in the past 3 seasons. So as a 32-year-old, he may not be chronologically a 32-year-old. He might be a little bit younger than that, but due to the number of games that he's started, so we'll have to see. Poyer extension was a Bush League move. Oh, Scott. You're better than that. You're better than that, Scott. Logan, hashtag, what do you think of Stephon Diggs? Great move, excellent route runner. I hope I answered your question. We need a big play threat to complement Singletary. I like Matt Breida, top fragger. A big play threat who can complement and not push for number 1 role. Like I said, man, I love Matt Breida. I wouldn't mind having him here. Let me just try to take a look and see as we approach the 4 o'clock hour what kind of crazy breakdowns have happened so far. Obviously, the TB12 going in Tampa. I just don't see that move. I don't know why. Raiders have agreed to terms with Eli Apple, so he is now on his 3rd team now. He was drafted the same draft as Trey White, by the way, and he went much sooner than Trey White. Just letting you guys know. Final minutes of Brady being a Patriot. Hey guys, next time you get in an argument with a Patriot fan, just remind them that Tom Brady's last pass as a Patriot was a pick 6. It's always fun. It's always fun to do that. Pretty sad. What is Diggs saying about trade? Anyone know, Scott Berkey? I don't know. I'm not really sure. But with picking up Diggs, people say he's a diva, he complains, he does this. Okay. You talk about Jefferson. You talk about Butler. You talk about all these guys. I really think that being a McDermott wouldn't have made these moves for these players unless they didn't feel that the culture inside the locker room wasn't at a point where they can handle things internally and not let it spill out. Okay? For my 2 cents, that's what it's worth. I mean, if you guys want my opinion on it, I think you only do that if your locker room is completely solidified in that respect. So Will it manifest? I don't know. We all have to watch. We all have to watch next year and see what happens. So, should the Bills draft a receiver at 54? Sports Talk by AJ coming in hot. I don't know. Your wide receiver room seems pretty stacked. I'd have to see who's there at 54. Can I answer it that way? And it's kind of a cheap way to answer it, but I have to see who's there at 54 to say that. Who would it be? Who would it be there? So, plus with the number of tight ends they have, you got Duke Williams coming back. Who knows what they're going to do? Who knows what they're going to do? How many different offensive sets does Dable want to run with Allen? If they bring up another big name wide receiver, there's only one football, guys. I don't know how these guys are going to get all spread out. War Coder, Tyrod Taylor, Chargers starting quarterback. Yeah, I did hear that earlier. They're probably going to draft one. I think they're going to draft one. Brady got tendered. Son of a biscuit. Michael Hill, what do you think of Josh Allen? I think since every game he's played, he's improved. Now, there are some things that he still does that makes me scratch my head when I watch it. But I think the sky's the limit for the kid. I think he's constantly – I think he has a huge chip on his shoulder that he constantly wants to prove people wrong. And I think he has the mental attitude to do that. I hope that helps. Okay. Let's see. What do we got in the second and third round? What do you mean, like picks? Like 5th, 54, and something else? Awesome thing about Brady leaving is the $13 million the Pats are paying him not to play. That's sneaky. You guys see how many, everyone likes to talk about the Buffalo Bills and the Carolina connection. Did you see how many former Patriots went to Detroit? Good Lord. It's like they had 7 guys. That's pretty insane. It's times like this that all those guys went to Detroit. And if you guys remember a long time ago, Detroit and Tampa were in the same division. I think, weren't they? Yeah. And if Brady went to Tampa and all those guys were playing against him twice a year, they just beat him up. Pretty hysterical. Can we let go after the draft? I don't understand. Who can we let go after the draft? Let me check the live feed. It is 4:02 Eastern Standard Time. Let's try to see if free agency has begun. Let's see what kind of crazy stuff, if any, comes out. Wow. These things are going up too fast. Oh, all the teams are going. So we'll see. Stephon Diggs officially traded. So no takesy backsies. We got him. Jaguars trade for quarterback Nick Foles. Every time I see Nick Foles' name now, I think of Nelly Furtado's video, Promiscuous Girl. Because he's been passed around to so many teams so far. It's crazy. All right. Patricia's seat in Detroit's got to start heating up some. War court. Yeah. See, that's the craziest part. All of these guys that go out and they try to get, little these bits and pieces of the Belichick tree and all that stuff. Charlie Weiss, Romeo Cornell, Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's a lunatic, first of all. They try to get all these little pieces of the Belichick tree. They don't realize that Bill Belichick teaches you everything you know. He doesn't teach you everything he knows. That's why none of these guys are able to be successful. Now, if Tampa wins 5 games this year, and by some miracle, New England wins 11, everyone's going to kind of know who was really driving the ship there, ladies and gentlemen. So, Stephon Fitch, they wouldn't have Cooper for $100 million. Yeah, $100 million? The thing about the Cooper deal is it would have bled into so many different, so many other contracts that you have currently on the roster that the guys that you need to sign. So, Jack Patrick, Dolphins will be our toughest competition this year, no doubt. Hey, they did get some quality pieces. I will admit that. However, they still got to play the game, right? They still got to play the game. More guys have been together in Buffalo than have been in Miami. So I like what Flores is doing down there. This seemed to be the path that they wanted to go. He wanted to clear house early. He got rid of a lot of guys. Now he's starting to get some good quality players back with the cap he was able to unload. So it sucks that every time, when the tampering period started, all I heard was Dolphins things. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. Jay Bowling, Cut Murphy, save $8 million. Yes, you do. Marshall Parker, any word on Brashad Perriman? Haven't heard anything yet. My guess is that if Tom Brady, and this was rumored, obviously you guys may have heard this, if Tom Brady was able to lure AB to Tampa, then Brashad Perriman probably wouldn't be there. Just guess. I don't know. I'm guessing. Miami picked up 4 Patriots as well, so Flores and Patricia are both taken from New England. There. That's what they do. Those fans shouldn't. It was interesting, though, that Patricia was there for a lot of years. I think Flores was only there for maybe 1-2 years, and the impact that he's had on that defensive team, he's starting to get guys go with him now. Pretty amazing. Sorry, that was my phone. So, Bills agreed to trade for, I already announced that to you guys. Is Diggs as good as, John Calvin coming in hot. Is Diggs as good as Cooper? I don't know, because you could see Diggs in and of himself. He's a great route runner. Not saying that Cooper's not. You had Dak Prescott, who threw for almost 5,000 yards this past year, and you had Kirk Cousins, who didn't play horrible, but then the question about Diggs is always, well, he's had Thielen on the other side of him. How good can he be? So that's a tough question. That is a very tough question, because I really like Cooper and what he brings to the table. But I'd have to go with Diggs, because I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid of Brandon Bean bringing him here. I got it. Let me see here. Miami rebuilding this free agency. Yes, Wilco already did. Steve Hampton. All these Panthers, and we said NFL doesn't have farm teams. Well, you remember, the Bills were the farm team for the rest of the NFL for years, man. Jay Bowling, the Pats would have to tank hard for Trevor Lawrence. Yes, they would. It seems like that's what they're doing. But Belichick never liked high-drafted quarterbacks. He never did, because you got to pay them. And he never liked paying them. If you guys remember, during that whole run, Brady was never the top-paid quarterback in the league. He was near the top. He was never the top. You know why? Because they needed money for other positions. Because he knows that it's a team game. He can't do it himself with that 8-yard passing tree that he has. Since they signed so many defensemen Daniel Gares. Since they signed so many defensemen in free agency, do they go offense heavy in the draft? Defensemen. Is this the Sabres channel? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. That's interesting. That's an interesting thought that they go offense. But remember that they got Brown, Beasley, Nisecki, Feliciano, Spain, Morse. They got all these guys last year, and they still drafted Cody Ford in the second round. So, and then they drafted Knox and Singletary after getting Yeldon and Gore. So, that's the greatest part about being. I don't know what he's going to do. Getting all these defensive players, yes, you have plugged a lot of different holes on your team. It seems like the contracts that they sign these guys for are these guys like, okay, you're starting. A lot of those other deals that they gave last year, with the exception of Mitch Morse, they were like, okay, they could still draft that position. They could still draft this position. I mean, when you had Nisecki getting 2 for 14, okay, and they drafted Ford. So it was, what are we going to do here? What's going to happen? All right, let me scroll through here. Diggs is better, no question, better hands. I don't think Diggs has injury history, and I think Cooper does. That's the other thing, if you guys want to take it back to that conversation. Bring Darryl Johnson along, John Herring. John Wantor is, I wish we could get Yannick. Oh, yes. That is a pipe dream. But because of the moves that they've made, like I said earlier, they made all these moves previously. It doesn't seem like they're going to make that many defensive line moves. But they could. They could. Not really sure. Brady doesn't need to make the most. His wife makes way more than him. She does, Apex. That's pretty funny. I think we would consider trading back into the mid to late of the first round if someone drops. Jesus. Yeah. That wasn't, no, that's his name. Jesus. Anyway, I don't know. They could, but I am not certain what type of future assets Bean wants to give up. Now, if you have the 54th overall pick, you're not just trading a second or a third the following year to get back into the first round. You're trading next year's 2021's first round pick. Uh, given what they've signed and everything that they have, who is worth that? I'm just curious. Diggs your number one, Smoke your number two. I'm going to go with 1 and 1A. 1A and 1B. I think they're both wins. We have John Roberts, we have 1,000-yard receivers in the team. Isn't that crazy to think about? And you can have Beasley that catches like 70 passes underneath. Pretty amazing. I mean, everyone's flying high about this. The possibilities and the hope that you have now in Buffalo is pretty crazy. I was on a couple other fan sites that were just general NFL fan sites on Facebook here and there, and a lot of the talk was circling around. Due to the Brady departure and the Bills getting Stephon Diggs, it was more like, okay, it's their division now. But unless your name's Manish Mehta and you still think that Sam Darnold's the best quarterback in the East, I don't know. John Herring, get some size at wide receiver. I understand that sentiment, but this offense is predicated on route running. Getting in and out of breaks as quick as you can. Getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands as fast as you can. Getting mismatches as fast as you can. What they have now are 3 guys that can do all of those things. And it doesn't matter their height. It really doesn't. Now, if you want a bigger guy to get off of press coverage, completely understand that. I completely understand that. Diggs is one of those guys that can do that by himself. Brown started to do that more near the end of the year. And Beasley can, I mean, you're not going to catch that dude in the phone booth. So I like the idea of putting those 3 out there with Knox and Singletary in the backfield and saying, who are you going to cover? Let me know who you're going to cover. Who are you going to, they come out, who are you going to tilt coverage toward? If they come out in a trips bunch, there's 3 guys right there, and you put Beasley and then Brown and Diggs right next to him, and you got Knox on the other side. Who are you going to cover? Who? I don't know. That's crazy. Don't know if Miami's going to be as good as people are saying. You can't buy wins. Look at the Browns. We'll have to see. The Blood Brothers. Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like the Browns won the division last year in the offseason, right? Oh, my God, they got OBJ, they got Landry, they got all these guys. Can someone tell me why the Browns got Hooper and made him the highest paid tight end in the league? David Njoku's a monster. Why would you get him? Why would you get him? I don't know. Duke's 6'3", is playing big enough. Great hands. I'm thinking you're saying red zone target. Hope you keep him this year. Yeah, you have him. You have him for as long as you want. I think the next 3 or 4 years because he's an exclusive rights free agent. Duke is a big dude. I met him at Batavia Downs when I was doing a broadcast for Rock Sports Network. That is a big dude. That is a large man. His shoulders are like this. It's crazy. We could have a KC offense and a Patriot defense going for a Oh, another notification from the Buffalo Bills. Bills agree to terms on all of their free agents that they were talking to. So it is official now. I mean, obviously during the tampering period, news gets leaked. Wait, where's Chris Harris going? Come here. Let me see this. Ooh, Chris Harris tells Josina Anderson that he's signing with the Chargers. You see now what... This is crazy. Gerald McCoy and the Cowboys agree to a 3-year deal. Like I said, Chris Harris is going to be going to the Chargers. Now, do you see what that division has done? That's what that division has done. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs have done. They have panicked the entire league into getting as much secondary help as they can. Oh man. The world is ending, though. Time to invest all your money in a blockbuster. Oh, my God. I mean, if Jefferson is still available in the second round, he would fit into our system. He's 6'3", a good route runner, and he's also a pro-style offense at LSU. Second round, I have no problem with that. I just don't think he's going to get there. I don't know if he may not get out of the top 15. I mean, Jefferson is a stud, man. But I do believe that with Beasley and Brown both have 2 years left on their deal. Diggs has 4. You got to have a guy that's drafted that kind of overlaps Brown and Beasley. You have to. It's the way it has to go. Chris Harris to the Chargers. Yeah, man, that Chargers defense is looking pretty disgusting. I'm not gonna lie. The Chargers defense. Haven't heard much from Diggs. How do you think he feels about the trade? I think he's interested in a fresh start, and I think Frazier's going to talk to him and assure him of that. I think that would be Mims, Claypool, Pittman Jr. in the round 2 would be amazing. Burning Bob in hell. Okay, yeah. I hope McKenzie goes somewhere or he gets some target and catch plays. I like what he did for us. Yes, I did too. Quentin Williams gunning for the top spot. All right, let's try to take a look at the NFL free agency once again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here. Hashtag Nation. Dante Fowler agreed to a 3-year, $48 million deal with the Falcons. Interesting. Harris, Hayward, King, and Derwin are the corners for the Chargers, who have to cover Kansas City. Yeah. So we don't have to deal with that problem here. The Jets have made it official. They have cut Tremaine Johnson as well. Just saying, hashtag Nation, thank you for joining me. I'm going to keep going, but I just want to say, you guys, devoting your time coming over here, we're talking a little bit about Bills football and breaking down a few things here and there. If it's your first time here, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for me. Appreciate it. We're also over broadcasting on Sportscaster. It's free to sign up over at Sportscaster as well. So, that being said, Paul and I will be here tomorrow night at 10 o'clock after all the dust settles for what's going on in free agency right now. So, tomorrow night you'll be able to get the full dose of hashtag. So, that's what we're going to end up doing tomorrow. Hopefully, there's going to be some more breaking news that happens for the Buffalo Bills. But, I mean, nevertheless, if these are all the moves that they made, and this is what they're going to do going into the draft, I'm okay. I mean, I would get another offensive guy, but I am all right. John Calvin, bye, Mario. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going. I was just thanking you guys for a minute. You guys are the worst. I was thanking everybody, and like 20 people left the chat. I was like, good Lord. Would you know me by then? Chiefs can't beat us. Mahomes won't score more than 17 on us. They are explosive, though. They are crazy explosive. Juan Castillo, Justin, Brady considering playing for the Bills. No, he's not. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. All right, let me see if I can. Wow, I think I'll just jump ship instead of saying thank you. All right, let's try to see who else has gotten signed in the time. Tom Brady changed his mind. Okay. All right, Bengals are signing offensive lineman Xavier Suafilo to a 3-year deal. He was at. You guys remember him? He was the guy that came into the game when the Bills were giving the Cowboys a beat down on Thanksgiving. He was the guard that came in. Let's see. Who else do we got? Yeah. Not too much considering a lot of the things that have already happened the last couple of days. Panthers have released safety Eric Reed. Did the Bills get him? I don't know. Let me go back to the live chat. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you, John Roberts. Appreciate it. What is our biggest need positionally right now? Well, I think you need to complement the Singletary. I think you need a corner number 2 because I just don't think Norman is that guy. Honestly, I just don't think Norman's that guy. He's more of a zone corner than a man corner. Can he play man? I know I said it a lot. Can he play man? Yes. Is he your ideal man corner? No, he's not. Did he have his best year playing for Sean McDermott? Yes, he did. Like 5 years ago. So, a lot of the guys, I can't remember who brought it up in the chat. I think it was Kevin Barbado. It wasn't in the chat, it was on Twitter. He was saying that a lot of these Carolina guys that McDermott is bringing in and Bean's bringing in, they were part of that Super Bowl run. So you want to talk about championship pedigree, they were on the team when they ended up going to the Super Bowl one year. So that is a big deal. That is a big deal to them. Jack Patrick, Tyrod hasn't seen Oliver before. He'll get a nice introduction. Let me ask you guys. Jack Patrick, Miami did not. Stop it. Let me ask you guys this, though. Are the Bills defensively right now? Do you feel that the Bills defensively right now could beat Kansas City? Honestly. Do you think that they could beat that Kansas City offense right now? Just wondering. Just guessing. Bengals cut John Miller, and if any of y'all say we should resign him, but I'll put you through the table. Les Mistress. Yeah. Marshall Parker, Truth to Heart says yes. Scott Blakely says yes. Marshall Parker says no, need more pass rush. Alan Strang says with a better cornerback too, definitely. HQ Awesomeness, Josh Allen to lead QBs and rushing TDs again, probably. We need KJ back. Chuck Christopher, yes. I would love another year of Kevin Johnson. Notice a lot of these guys that they're signing off free agency like former first rounders. That's what I know about it. Pretty sweet. Except for Mario Addison. Mario Addison went undrafted in 2011. Interesting fact. Eric Reed released. John Herring, yep. At least one stud DE would be great. Yes. Mario, would you take back Ronald Darby as a number 2 to White? Ernest Diaz. He's got a ring. Played in the Super Bowl. He's played in a couple of big games. He was a formidable corner. Has he been hurt recently? That's my question. That's my only question. Because the question going into last year with Kevin Johnson was he's always hurt. There's always something wrong with him. Can he last? Well, he lasted. I don't know about Darby though. If Darby always hurt, that wouldn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't tackle at all. Okay. All right. Well, in this defense, you definitely got to be a guy that has to be physical. I believe Trey White the last 3 years. I think he has over 50 tackles each year. So you have to be physical as a corner in this league. And it's not like he gives up a lot of receptions that he gets the tackle afterward. He's actually coming up and making tackles. So I don't know. I'd have to see based on his injury history and if he does make tackles. And a lot of you guys are saying that he doesn't make tackles. So I guess I'd be out on him. So we need another big impact guy to shut down Mahomes. Yeah, a lot of you guys are saying that we don't have enough to beat. We don't have enough to beat Kansas City right now. So what can we do offensively if we don't have enough defensive pieces? I'm interested to see this one. This should be good. Did Kevin Johnson get signed already? I don't know, Alan. Let me check that out. I don't think he did. It'd be great if he got signed to the Bills already. But I didn't see him get signed. So let me just check this out for everybody. Give me 1 second. For those of you old enough, every time I type in Kevin Johnson, I get the basketball player from the Phoenix Suns. It's pretty hysterical. Oh. Says he's still on the Bills. But Denver is targeting him. So I don't know. He probably could be on his way to Denver, unfortunately. So I didn't hear anything, though. I apologize for that, but I haven't heard anything about him. Could have beat them last year, Mario. Anthony John saying he could have beat the Kansas City Chiefs last year. Oh, that would have been tough. That would have been very tough. Can't wait for next year when Joey Bosa is a free agent. Juan Castillo, number 7 from the Suns, one of my faves back in the day. Yep. Where does Cam go? Oh, interesting. I don't know where Cam would go. Super Bowl winning quarterback Joe Flacco needs a place to go too. I could see that if the Buffalo Bills played the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs last year, it probably would have been the most nerve-wracking game of my life. But you would have seen 100%, given what happened, like the Bills winning or Kansas City winning the Super Bowl, if Kansas City would have beaten the Bills, you would have had the exact blueprint of what you needed to beat them. Because they're the top of the mountain right now. They are the top of the mountain right now. So we'll take a look at some of these breakdowns here for y'all. Okay. All right. P.J. Williams for our number 2 cornerback then. Physical tackler with length. Ooh. Didn't think about him. That'd be interesting. I think what you need to do now to beat the Kansas City Chiefs is you got to get 2 things. One, can you generate pressure with 4 and not let Mahomes get outside? Okay. If you do that, you can have a 1 and a 2 corner and an okay slot guy. I think you can. If you're not able to generate pressure with 4, and here's the craziest part, Steve Spagnuolo, okay, you guys may remember that name. He was the defensive coordinator when the Giants took down the Patriots in the Super Bowl when they went 18-1. He said, listen, he said it out, he said no uncertain terms. They played 7 behind, they rushed 4, Strahan, Jason Pierre-Paul, Justin Tuck, all those guys. They went and got the quarterback. And they just had pressure with 4. They didn't blitz Brady. And you saw the result of that. They ended up holding him to 14 points. Spagnuolo is probably the one guy that could design a defense to beat Andy Reid in that offense. He's coaching for the Chiefs. So, there you go. You're done. You're done. Finished. But what I'm saying is, if you have 4 guys that can generate pressure on a consistent basis and you play 7 behind it, okay, you got a shot. If you can't and you have to blitz, you better have corner 1 and corner 1A, corner 1B. You better have 2 number 1 corners, and your slot guy better be a stud. That's all I'm saying. Shane Paul isn't doing his best Bubble Boy impression. Otherwise, we could roast him. Hey, guys, you're always open to roast Paul. I mean, I'll tell him to read it later. Or I'll read it to him. I'll call him up. Tell him to read it. If Aldon Smith gets reinstated, would you take a chance on a 1-year deal, Marshall Parker? I don't know if I would. Being away from the game as long as he has, I wonder what his priorities are. If he would have a certain relapse of his previous doings, I don't know. That's just too much of an undertaking right now. Do you think we are good with Klein taking Lorenzo's spot, or do you think we should look at other linebackers? I like Klein. I like Klein, and I like the depth they have at that position as of right now. You got to think Milano and Edmonds played dang near 100% of the snaps. If you can have Klein in there on some of those, where you go with the two linebacker set, you still want to go with the 2 linebacker set. You want to go with Klein and Edmonds or Klein and Milano, just to give those guys a little bit of a breather. I'm fine with that. I think Klein's a heck of a pickup. I still think we need a more athletic and faster linebacker than Klein, because Chuck Christopher. You think Klein is more athletic and faster than Lorenzo? Because you wouldn't need any much more than that. Because when they decided to go to a 4-3 set, which was rare, Zoe wasn't in there that much. So he was playing defensive tackle. So on the times where they just go to, when they actually want to go to a 3 linebacker set, Klein is serviceable enough to play in that respect. Extend Andre Roberts, he is so good. You talking about Pro Bowl wide receiver? Andre Roberts? Sorry? We need a punter. Yep. Is our DE rotation better? Chuck Christopher. I think so. Chuck, I think Klein's a safety option. Interested in how Vance Joseph looks this year. Apex. 100%, dude. You almost think of him as an extra draft pick because he didn't play. Right? And you got Jaquan Johnson. So he's more of a safety, but you know what I mean. That you pay that big nickel. I'll still take anyone that isn't Borquez. No, yeah. Let me try to see if I can give you some more free agent updates, guys. All right. Let's take a look. Wade as a fullback and gunner and possible returner. Cut DeMarco. Man, people love hating on DeMarco. I thought he was going last year. Didn't seem to be the case. Just the way it goes sometimes. All right. As this bad boy has updated, do the Chargers have the best secondary in the NFL? Well, they're going to need it when they play against the Bills. So, let's see here. Let's see. The Bears traded. Yeah. When the Bears traded for Trubisky, they're talking about it now because Foles ended up signing there. They took the rest of his $88 million deal. I think that's crazy. Tom Brady the Buck. All right, let's see. Eric Reed was released as well. You guys already talked about that. All right. Yep. Seems like a lot of this stuff is pretty much, recycled stuff that we talked about yesterday. Jack Patrick, that's enough. Chuck Christopher, I'm excited for Vance Joseph. Also, okay, so with a half an hour of free agency gone, let me go to my tracker. I'll see if I can pick up any other names for you guys that were kind of under the radar ones that you may want to see or haven't seen. Let's see, the free agency transition tracker. Nick Foles to the Bears. Chargers agree to sign cornerback Chris Harris. Falcons agree with Dante Fowler. Rams get Leonard Floyd for a one-year deal. Titans get Jarrell Casey. Chargers get Linval Joseph. Bengals get Xavier Su'a-Filo. Raiders get Eli Apple. Panthers get Seth Roberts. Bills agree with Taiwan Jones. Saints agree for safety Malcolm Jenkins. The Panthers release Eric Reed. Lions agree to sign Danny Shelton. Jets get re-signed Brian Poole. Maybe some other names down here for you guys. So, yeah. As of right now, those are all the deals as of March 18th. You guys are done. I'm sorry, Dan. All right. So, as far as that goes, we're going to try to keep you guys updated via Twitter and YouTube. I got a couple videos coming out, highlight tapes for you guys. I know you guys were asking about one with Milano and Edmonds. I've been working on that. It's been kind of giving me fits because I'm trying a little bit of a new technique with it this time. So if you haven't followed us yet, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do so. We have, if you talk to a lot of the community here, they do enjoy some of the content that Paul and I do, and we're going to be in the car this Saturday recording some content for y'all. But we're going to have a live feed tomorrow night at 10 o'clock p.m. So make sure you guys set your clocks for that. We are also over on Sportscaster. Let me see if I didn't check any other boxes. Okay. All right. I think we got everything. So, guys, enjoy the rest of free agency for today. We're going to be here tomorrow night to be recapping whatever kind of crazy moves happen. So thank you for joining me on the live stream tonight. And I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow. So take it easy, guys.